Hey, how's it going, guys? So, I've actually gotten requests on how to build a car using the SCRAPS objects. I know someone else has had issues with getting objects to snap into place, so I'm going to try and do this from memory, so bear with me a little bit. I've created two scripts. There's wheel.gb and wheel.snap. Now, if you look in here, you'll see that there's literally nothing in here. For the objects that need to use the gravnull, I have a mesh collider, and make sure it's checked to convex. Then I have a rigid body as well. Make sure you have the SCRAPS gravnull object script attached to it. For the hood, this is actually two different pieces. So I created an empty game object called hood grav, and basically just drag and drop both of the pieces of the hood inside of here. Now these don't have anything except for the mesh collider and the dynamic prop. But in here, it does have a mesh collider, and it is set to convex, as well as having a rigid body. These right here, these are just the keys. These are the largest keys I've ever seen, but, you know, it's just a collectible with a SCRAPS interactive script. Nothing too special. I also have a box collider that's set as a trigger, so it should act whenever the player walks up to it. So the first thing we want to do is we actually need to click on all of the ghosting wheels. And I'm going to put the ghost wheel GB on here. The next thing we need to do is click on all the gravnull wheels, and these are going to be the wheel snap. Now whenever you create a script, make sure you type in your initials, underscore, and then the name of the script. I didn't do this because this is just for tutorial purposes, but it should give you an idea on what needs to be done. The wheel snap, we don't have to really worry about that. It's just checking to see if the object has the script. But we do need to worry about, and I say not to worry about that one, we do need to worry about the wheel GB. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to say public game object, and we're going to say self. And we're going to go in here and we're going to say on trigger enter. We're going to say if other dot game object, let's see, I don't want to do it by tag, so we're actually going to say, let's see, has script, what is that? Fuse snap, so it's not fuse snap. Fuse link, here we go. So we're actually saying, oh, if it's active in hierarchy. Okay, so we're going to say if self.gameObject active in hierarchy equals false, then we're going to do something. And inside of here, get component, so we're going to say if other dot get component, and this has the wheel snap, I believe. Yeah, wheel snap, and it does not equal null. Then we're going to start making the magic happen. So I'm actually getting an error, and the reason why I'm getting this error, no, really. There we go. The next thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and set the self dot set active. That's going to be set to true. Next thing we need to say is destroy other dot game object. And then lastly, we actually need to say, I'm just going to, oh no, I don't want to destroy this because we may still need it. So all I'm going to do is say GameObject.setActive false. So essentially, what's going on here. We're going to start with a public game object self. So I'm going to click back on this wheel right here. I can see that's the second. I'm going to click on wheel reg. Wait for it to finish compiling real quick. Any day now, Scooter. Okay, so wheel reg is actually in the same spot as this one, so I'm actually going to make sure that it is this one that is being set. So self is actually going to be the one that's currently inactive. And we're actually going to do this with all of them. You just knock these out real quick. Okay, so what's going on is that game object that's inactive, which in this case it's wheel reg, we're saying we're going to set this to be inactive, which is why it's called true. And we're going to destroy the game object that interacts with it. In this case, it's going to be the one with the gravnull, which is why it needs a trigger. Last thing we're doing is GameObject.setActive. Now, if it's just GameObject, you're talking about the game object you're currently looking at. So if I have done this right, Oh, the hood still needs it too. So let me go ahead and do that with the hood. I'm going to say wheel GB, and we're going to say hood reg, right, meow. I'm going to come up into here. I'm going to add a component, and we're going to do gravnull object. Story of my life. We're going to say mesh collider. It is convex. We're going to say rigid body, and the reason why I'm not making these as a trigger is because if it's set as a trigger, it'll just fall through the ground. Okay, so the last thing we need is gravnull object. There we go. Now, if I have done this correctly, this should snap into place. Let me click on hood, and that is all set. So let me go ahead and test this out real fast and make sure it is working. It's always the longest time is waiting for it to load. So let me go ahead and move this over. Let's see where you at. There you are. In fact, I should have another checkpoint in here, and I do. Okie dokie. So, it looks like I screwed up on the hood, but that's fine. I should be able to snap these into place, and it snapped into place, I think. The hood fell through, but that's okay. So let me see if that snaps into place. Yeah, so that snaps into place, but I messed up on that wheel, so one of these other wheels is probably... No, not active. I don't know where it went. So I'm going to take a look at that here in just a second. Let me snap this. So that one snaps. And I'm going to take this. Let me see if... Okay, I can collect the key, so that's a good thing. So let me go ahead and snap this into place. Okay, that one snapped into place. So I guess the wheel just decided to take a little road trip somewhere else. But now let's go ahead and see what is going on with the rest of this. So I'm guessing some of my wheels right here are probably just a little bit past the... they're probably intersecting into the ground a little bit, which could cause them to fall. Either that or I'm missing something very simple. So that's got a mesh collider on it. That's got a mesh collider on it. Let me just go through these real quick. And they all have a mesh collider. So I'm just going to actually raise these up just a little bit. And the hood right here, I'm actually going to set these to convex. This is actually kind of important. And then we have the hood right here, which is GB. So it has a trigger and a mesh collider. These should not have... convex. There we go. Now, that should be good enough. So I'm going to hit play. I'm going to keep an eye over here, but then I'm going to walk back over on this screen as well. So let me see what's going on here real fast. Okay, they all fell on the ground. That is excellent. So now I'm going to test it one more time, make sure everything's sticking the way it should. I'm going to come up here, grab this little guy, just snap that in place. So that one snapped. Let's go ahead and test it with the hood real fast. That one snapped. Okay, so that's going to be an issue. Okay, there's something going on with the hood. And the reason why that hood snapped in place is because I'm using the same script for it. Had I not been using the same script, that would not happen. Okay, there we go. So, you basically create another script called hood snap, and you'd do another script like this, and that's how you'd fix that issue. So is what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come in here. I'm going to say public bool, and we're going to call this hood. So if it has that script and it's not hood, then it'll snap into place. So that should fix the issue with that. But usually you just fix that as a wheel snap script. You know, just make a hood snap or whatever. But that's a real simple way to do it. The only issue is you wouldn't be able to snap the hood to it because then the hood would still have the wheel snap. You can also use trigger tags, but that's basically how you create a simple snap script and make sure that this game object, whenever you're deactivating it, is the last thing that happens. Alternatively, you could say destroy game object, but because we're saying that the game object, which is this game object that the script is attached to, you want to make sure that is the last thing you do. The other game object is what is colliding with it, and the self, which is this public game object up here, that's basically the object you're setting as active. So I'm going to save this. I don't know why I just saved it, but oh, that's why, because I'm changing that up. So, come here, one. You know, actually, we could do that. Public bool hood. I'm going to show you how to do this real quick because I'm feeling spiffy. So we're going to keep this like this, and we're going to say if hood. I'm going to get rid of this, and then right down here, I'm going to say if hood, and essentially I'm just going to copy all of this and paste it in here. The only difference is I'm going to call this hood snap. I'm going to save it. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to create a new C# script called hood snap. And so now I won't be able to snap the wheel to it. The only thing that's kind of concerning me is that whenever this activates, the hood's actually going down. I think is what's going on is actually colliding with itself. And so I'm probably going to have to make that hood just a little bit smaller. And so once this, oh, it's already finished compiling. So I'm going to go down here, hood reg. So if I click in here, it's got a rigid body. We do not want it to have a rigid body. No, we do not. So I must have messed that up. Go ahead and remove this component. I will remove this component. There we go. Now it's just a mesh collider. But now the hood gravnull, this will actually need the hood snap attached to it. What did I miss? Got that, got that, got that. Where is my error? Let me come back in here. Hood, How dare you guys not tell me about my error? Alright, so let this finish compiling. I was wondering why it actually compiled so fast. I was like, hey, that's actually pretty good timing. Never seen it compile that fast before. And it's kind of like, I wonder why. Okay, so now the hood has the hood snap. We're going to come down here to hood GB, and this is the hood. And it's going to look for the hood snap script. So we're going to go ahead and save this. I don't know why I just saved it. It's just my toy box scene. And we're going to hit play, and now the hood should snap only to the hood. And on top of that, the, what's it called? The, I don't know if I added the hood gravnull to this or not. Yeah, it is. Okay. So now the hood should only snap to the hood. I'm going to test it with a wheel real fast. I dove the Prince Charming. Okay, nothing's happening. That's good. Okay, I don't know why this hood is not being picked up. Everything appears to be correct. So I don't know. I'm going to have to kind of fart with that one later on. The wheels are working though, so that's a plus. But as you can see, when they snap in, it actually creates a wheel surface right there. And you can do that with all of them, if you can even pick one up. So I should snap into place. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to look in here. That is set as convex. That is correct. I have the gravnull object. Yeah, I legitimately do not know why this is not picking up. So I'm going to actually create a box collider. And I'm going to edit the collider. Okay, editing colliders. Y'all are going to y'all are going to learn a really cool little trick here. So click this right up here is called your view cube. If you press Y, you can tell that it's not orthographic. But if you click on the cube itself, it'll actually change it to isometric, or also known as orthographic view. And this is actually very handy whenever creating, whenever you're trying to line something up. And so now I'm going to click right here. I'm going to say Edit Collider. I'm actually going to bring this down. I'm going to bring this up. And then I'm just going to bring this up like so. I'm going to go back into 3D view, and I'm going to hit, go back into my scene. There we go. It's a little wonky. It's actually very wonky. But if I bring it over here, as you can see, the hood does snap into place. More than likely, the reason why I'm running into this issue is because of the fact that the way the hood is, how thin it is. That's the only thing I can think of, because this hood is like super thin. In fact, it's only a flat plane. That is the only thing I can think of. So if you're wanting to use like a hood, make sure it's fairly thick. That way it's easier to grab onto. But that's going to do it for this tutorial. I hope you learned something, and I shall see y'all next time.